Hello and welcome to Horror Fanatic, the podcast that helps you find new, emerging, and undiscovered horror podcast content. I'm Greg, the host and curator of Horror Fanatic. If you are a horror fanatic, click that subscribe button now. This episode is a podcast feature episode. If you like the creator, check out the episode notes for links to subscribe. Today's episode is from I Seen It. Jordan and Don are two unprofessional movie fans who will watch and discuss anything. The greater the danger, the greater the fun. In this episode, Don, Jordan, and Christian talk about their favorite scary movies. As always, you can reach out to me on Twitter at IndieDropIn and tell me what kind of horror fandom related content you like. I'll go find those podcasts and feature them on this show. All right, let's get this show started.
Begin.
Are you disappointed that you did get to talk about Burt Reynolds' mustache?
I mean,
You can do that now.
There will be a time.
There's 23 other hours in the day to talk about Burt Russell's.
Wait,
Talk about his mustache.
now I want to see Burt Russell's mustache. Need to know the buoyancy of this thing.
I have never heard of Burt Russell before. So.
Yeah, it's a cross between Burt Reynolds and Kurt Russell. He's got beautiful hair with an even better mustache.
And sexy abs. Oh my lord.
Could you imagine the bone tomahawk mustache on Burt Reynolds' face?
God.
I want that child right now.
Wait, does he get to wear the Smokey and the Bandit hat?
Duh.
Well,
He's got to drive the Trans Am.
with the bone tomahawk mustache?
Christian, you need to
Ooh.
write this movie.
No, I don't write movies.
Hey, do you guys want to play a game? I want to play a game.
Are we going to play a game?
Yeah.
What game? What game are we going to play?
We're going to play a game. I'm going to give you guys a bad movie description.
Okay.
When you know the answer, say your name, ring in, give me the answer.
Well, it's not going to be me, so.
Ding ding.
We're going to start with an easy one. I'll give you 3 of them. We'll make this a little game. And, yeah, we're going to start easy here. So, bad movie description number 1. A little boy with a bicycle thwarts the FBI's attempt to detain an illegal immigrant.
Christian, E.T.
Bingo. See, that was easy. You thought you
You
weren't
got
going
a
to
chance
get
to
one.
ring.
You got to say your fucking name.
Well, I
Get
wasn't.
in there quick.
Yeah,
I'm busy looking at Burt Reynolds' mustache.
if you know the answer, just say it. Yeah.
I'm gonna yell it.
All right, 1-0 Christian. I got 3 of these, so here's number 2. A short man goes on a long trip with some other short guys and one tall guy.
Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Incorrect.
What? Get the fuck. What?
Incorrect.
So it's not Lord of the Rings?
No.
Short guy goes on a trip with a bunch of other short guys and one tall guy.
Yep.
Oh, man.
You're really close.
Is it The Hobbit?
Ding, ding, ding. It is The Hobbit. Come on, Bilbo goes
like
on
this
an
game.
adventure with a bunch of other short guys, and then Gandalf.
Who's the tall guy? Oh, is Gandalf with him in The Hobbit?
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched it once a million years ago. I didn't care
Yeah,
for
I
it.
watched it once.
You get to watch a 45-minute dinner scene. Great.
and not know who any of the doors are.
That usually lasts longer than most of my meals anyway.
Wow. Well, they're cleaning for the majority of it.
Oh, that's fair.
And singing. Very important singing.
I don't sing when I clean. That's something that's going to have to be accepted.
All right.
Do
Well,
you play the bass while you clean, or?
No. How the
No?
hell is that supposed to happen? My hands are occupied.
he's the cat in the hat.
I could-
He's got an invention that cleans for him.
I wish.
All right. Well, 2-0 Christian. And last but not
Winner
least,
takes all.
let's see here.
Winner take all.
No. This is going to be a continuous thing. It's going to be a running tally until we quit. All right. A police
quit.
officer who does his job too well is sent on a wild goose chase in the countryside. He eventually catches
Hot
the
Fuzz.
goose. Ding, ding, ding. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, that was it.
I need to water my pea slowly.
That was my bad movie description game.
That was all right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I have more. We'll continue it another time. I got better ones. I just wanted to start with some easy ones to get used to it.
Well, thank you for the icebreaker. It's very appreciative.
You're welcome.
Are you ready to talk about what we're here to talk about?
What's that?
Our 5 favorite scary movies.
I mean, we're doing honorable mentions, so it's not really. It's more than 5. Come on,
Yeah.
You got
I
a whole
have-
list?
like 7.
1,
10.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 or 9 honorable mentions
5 and 5.
to go with my 5 favorites.
What's the point? Why just do top 10?
I have
top 10.
I
Jeff.
But
have
couldn't think
5.
of a 10th one.
I have 5 favorites, and then I have 5 honorable mentions.
Which are listed 6 through 10.
I mostly just want to give a shout out to some of these for my honorable mentions. I don't necessarily want to talk about them.
Dick Shark,
fair.
is that on your list?
No.
No,
I purposely left
nobody
all-
cares about that movie except you.
I know, it's a phenomenal movie.
No,
More of the
stop
world
talking
needs
about it.
to watch
Nobody
Dick
cares.
Shark.
I purposely left all B-list movies off my list because I figured that'd be another podcast for another day.
I don't have any B list. I think I have a D list though.
Christian doesn't watch anything but A-list.
It's true. I think if you're gonna work for and try to accomplish a work of art, it should be pretty good. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Scruples, you know.
All right.
All right.
So we are doing our top 5. So I guess I'll start with my 5 on my list. So I'm going to take this one before Christian can. I'm going with
Ooh.
2010's
Fight.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil by Eli Craig. See here, this one is just a hilarious take on on horror. Definitely more comedy than horror, but it's got some fantastic death scenes, and it just basically mocks the whole horror movie genre in every way possible.
Yeah. No, I have to adjust my list because that was number 1.
It was number 1.
Bullet.
Yes, because
Oh,
it's
boy.
the most enjoyable horror movie. I don't watch a lot of horror movies.
Okay.
So that was probably the only quote unquote horror movie I've seen more than once or twice.
Well, and you can agree that it's barely a horror movie, but it follows all the horror tropes.
It's a gory comedy.
Indeed. So when the kids just start killing themselves, it just gets ridiculous.
We have had a doozy of a day, officer.
And was it Tyler Labine? Is that his name?
Which one?
I don't know if he's Tucker or if he's Dale. He's the bigger guy of the group.
Dale.
Yeah.
That's Dale.
So his real name,
Alan Tudyk's Tucker.
Tyler Labine. He's fantastic in it.
Labine. Oh, he's so funny.
Labine.
Labine.
I don't know.
I've actually watched him on a few things since then, and it's all enjoyable. He's got a funny show on FX or who? Yeah. I'd have to look up the name of it so somebody else can say their 5 while I'm doing that.
I just love his words. That fucking filthy ass hat that just says "Giver" on it. It's just great. It's just a funny, great movie. Alan Tudyk is so good.
Yes.
He really, I mean, I mean, Tyler Labine, he makes that character great, but without like Alan Tudyk being the straight man, it's so funny. It's really really funny movie.
And Katrina Bowden is the love interest who absolute smoke show. I followed. She was great on 30 Rock.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time.
Yeah.
I don't watch 30 Rock, so I'll take your word for it.
Well, that's when I first saw her. She's great as the sexy co-ed.
The heroine. Yeah. I thought the quote unquote antagonist wasn't that great of an actor.
The kid,
Jesse Moss is the guy's name. He played Chad,
the preppy kid. Yeah. No, not great.
For some reason I just didn't care for like the way he delivered his lines and stuff. And
well, none of the college kids were very good except for Katrina Bowden.
Yeah. But I mean, most of them, they really didn't need to be great. They were in there to get, to jump in a wood chipper.
Right. Have you seen this movie, Don? You're awfully quiet.
I'm just listening. I'm taking it all in. No, I think we talked about this with our faves. Christian had been telling me to watch this movie for a long time, and I finally accepted, and I watched it last October and was blown away, just like you guys. Funny. It's really one of a kind. There's just not a lot of movies that are like that. So, yeah, no, I'm just taking it. I'm shutting up for once.
All right.
Bet your wife wished you took that approach more often.
Oh, that's another podcast.
So, Don, you gonna go with yours?
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. I'm going to start out with. I need to check the date on this. 2003's Hot Tension. If you live in America, it's called High Tension. It's directed by Alexandre Aja. I've always had a thing for this movie. It is, it's graphic, it's dirty, it's just shocking. And the director he hasn't made anything good since this one. I used to describe this movie as, I would explain that the huge giant gardens on the cover would get used from mouth to belly button, and if you were into that sort of thing, by all means take my advice. The funny thing about this movie is that the big saw being used is it doesn't bother me. It's the little things like a piece of glass going across like an Achilles tendon. That stuff gets me more than anything that's really graphic.
Every time. The ones that you can relate to are so much more.
Yep.
I don't know, you can feel them.
Yeah, I love this movie. I know it's once it reveals itself, it's probably a lot of bullshit, but just watching it is a motherfucker. I love it.
Yeah, that's on my honorable mentions list tonight. It was fantastic. For anybody that doesn't know what it is, it's basically just 4 people in a farmhouse. 2 girls, one of their dads, and the serial killer.
Yeah, the serial killer is an overweight, disgusting sleazeball who carries around a switchblade, and he goes into the house where they're staying at, murders the family, takes the best friend hostage, and the friend has to go and get her back by any means possible. And that's just the simple way of getting it going. It is awesome.
And it has one death scene that has stuck with me since I've seen it. And that was the father who got his head stuck in the banister of the staircase going up, and then the serial killer drove a bookcase past it to decapitate him. And it was crazy.
One thing about this movie is make sure you find the unrated cut. I have no idea what the R-rated cut is like. Yeah, just go with the unrated and just go with it. It's good.
Have you seen this, Christian?
Nope.
No. Oh. You were in for a treat when with the big reveal.
Hmm.
Do you want to do your 5?
I will do my 5.
4, since I stole
gonna
yours.
Well, I still have 5. I can adjust things.
He was ready for you.
Yeah, I kind of figured you were going to take that one. My number 5 is, and I'll see if Don can name this, Steven Spielberg's very first movie.
Duel.
Duel, yes, sir. It's a really cool, kind of tension-setting movie, 1971, where it's an evil truck driver is just harassing and chasing the salesman around the desert, and it's just really, because you never see the truck driver, and there's a scene where the salesman comes to a truck stop, and the truck is parked in the parking lot, and he goes in, and there's a diner, and there's a bunch of other truck drivers there, but he really can't figure out which one it might be. But yeah, it's a really, really cool classic chaser film that I enjoy.
That was made for TV, I believe it was.
I have never seen it.
Yeah, it stars Dennis Weaver as a salesman.
You know what? I take that back. I might have seen parts of it on TV before.
Yeah, you've probably seen a clip here or there, but
I
was thinking about doing Christine, but I was reminded of this, and I thought that this one was a better movie.
I might have to put this on my list to watch.
It's an interesting film, and
Yeah.
plus it's like I said, it's Spielberg's first, so it's getting a good taste of what early Spielberg was like.
Second movie, because he did the Sugarland Express first, I believe, with Goldie Hawn.
Sugarland Express was in 74.
Was it 74? Okay.
This was.
I know they're close. I know they both set up Jaws, so.
Yeah, but that's number 5.
That on your list, Jordan.
I'm watching it. Well, I will be watching it. Yeah, you're right. I'm looking it up right now. For the first one was Duel. He was signed to do 4 television films. And that was the first one he did. All right. I will definitely be putting that on my list. Can't wait. Duel.
Well, you'll have to wait until at least the podcast is over.
Nah. You guys can just wait
Start it
while
now.
I watch the rest of the conversation. And
Oh, how far did you get in that?
The first 20.
Okay.
I got sleepy, so I had to turn it off.
Yeah. That'll happen. It takes a minute.
All right. So then I will go to 4, and I will go all the way back to 2017. Get Out, Jordan Peele's directorial debut. I think it won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay that year. And
Yes.
It was great. Something that I had never seen before. Not much of a horror movie, but more of a thriller, kind of more of a psychological thriller, but everything that Daniel Kaluuya was doing was great. Allison Williams was fantastic. And the great Bradley Whitford, as always, delivered again. I mean, it really makes you not want to trust anybody.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I love Catherine Keener in that movie as the mom. Yeah,
Great.
it's total just twist you around and spit you out and have you question everything after. Yeah, it's great movie.
Well, and even after you've seen it, you just go back and you're trying to look for clues along the way, and there aren't any subtle hints even. It just sucks you in every time. Uh,
Christian, have you seen Get Out?
Nope.
oh, you should definitely watch it.
No.
Not for the horror movie aspect of it, but just for, uh, like I said, it's a good one, man. I mean, they made this movie on a $4 million budget. I think it made 250, 260 in the box office.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean, that gives you
massive.
a free pass to do whatever the hell you want to do after that, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, and Jordan Peele has set himself up as the next possible Alfred Hitchcock. He just, with this and Us, I am
Us was really
100%
good.
excited to see where he goes.
Yeah,
Have either of you guys seen his Twilight Zone?
I have not.
I haven't seen it either. I've been really wanting to.
Hmm.
Christian's got homework. Christian's got homework.
Yeah, if I can tell you to watch anything on my list, I think it's going to be to watch Get Out.
I watched Den of Thieves when you told me to last time.
You enjoyed it, right?
It was all right. Yeah, it was a decent turn your brain off and watch a movie.
Well,
Dumb Heat.
Type of movie.
I went back and watched Leon the Professional, so
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I still think, oh boy, why am I drawing a blank right now? Oh, Gary Oldman was still crazier in True Romance, but that's for another topic.
So can I just bring something out here because I just watched this movie the other day. I just watched Don't Breathe Part 2, and the movie has no reason to exist. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because we're talking about The Professional and Gary Oldman. The movie tries to be Taken plus The Professional. They actually damn near steal Gary Oldman's everyone line. They just change the last word. So
everything.
Huh.
I will look it up. I'll get it back to you guys. But the movie is just bad. But when watching that and you're seeing exactly what they're ripping off and they're not hiding it at all, it's just so lazy and just so pathetic.
Well, did you enjoy the first one?
I love the first one. The first one was just fucked up and had no idea where they could go with that. And they pretty much just say 8 years later he's got a kid, and the movie takes 45 minutes to finally answer the goddamn question as to what the fuck is going on, as to why he's not being treated as the worst person on the face of the earth, why he is now an anti-hero.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I say you felt
that's
bad
my
for
rant.
him in the first one, so kind of weird.
It was awful. It's probably the worst movie I saw of the month. But anyway, got sidetracked. Sorry.
What's your 4?
I think it's my turn. My 4. I had a hard time choosing between this or another John Carpenter movie. I figured one of you might take Halloween. So I decided to go in a different path. I went with Carpenter's The Thing. It is perfect in my eyes. It is incredibly taut atmospheric, just full of fucking dread. It's got Kurt Russell with a fabulous beard and hair. Got an awesome cast. I just introduced this movie to my oldest son, and he said it was tense. I mean, it's almost 39 years, and the special effects still work. They're still just insanely gross. I'm a big John Carpenter fan, and I think from when he did Halloween to when he finished with They Live in 1988, he's just unmatched. He's doing so many different things. It's just I can't get enough of it. Yeah.
I knew you'd take that one, so I purposely left it off my list.
As soon as you said John Carpenter, I was like, he's taking the thing.
Yeah.
Halloween is my favorite. It's always been my favorite horror movie.
You know,
to me,
you can have
Halloween
two movies
is
by the same director.
I know that, but for the list,
Not
I had to keep it just one. So I decided to go with The Thing. It's just I can't believe all these movies came out in 1982. You got E.T., you got Blade Runner, you've got The Thing. The Thing bombed at the box office because nobody wanted to see a mean alien movie. Everyone wanted to see E.T. And The Thing has lived on just as long as E.T. So
I really enjoy The Thing every time I've seen it. So I don't have much to add to that one. I absolutely love it. I did always want to know what happened to him at the end.
I did the internet research after that, and so many different things are out there that people believe. I won't get into any spoilers just in case, even though the movie's 39 years old, but
Yeah, it's older than I am.
Yeah,
I think we could give a spoiler or two.
Look at
hey, did you
look
notice
at
my
the
accents?
character opposite Kurt Russell at the end and see what he's wearing in his ear or not. That'll give you your answer.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How can you see his ears with his big mane, though?
You can see if he's got earrings or not.
Okay.
Yeah. Christian, have you seen The Thing?
You know the answer to this. No.
Have you seen any movies
Oh.
outside of your list?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
But like I said, I don't watch horror movies, so in the beginning, most of your lists I will not have seen.
Okay. I'm glad you've seen
Just
at
not
least
my
one of
genre.
mine.
Yeah, I've seen your first one.
You've probably seen number one on my list as well.
I've probably seen them, but 99% sure not more than once.
Okay.
Anyway, my number 4 is Evil Dead 2.
Yes.
Thank you for taking something Evil Dead. Thank you.
I have Army of Darkness as an honorable mention because Army of Darkness really isn't a horror movie. It's more of just an adventure movie. And Evil Dead 2, even though it's technically a sequel of Evil Dead 1, it's kind of not. It's more of a remake. And Evil Dead 1 is not as good as Evil Dead 2 is. Evil Dead 2 is camp, it's kitsch, it's an amazing 80s slasher blood splatter movie. And the scene where he's losing his mind and like the deer and stuff on the wall are laughing is just an absolute riot.
I'm the guy with the gun.
Yeah. Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
We just killed our girlfriend with a chainsaw. We're not fine. Do you know the term that they came up with to explain the movie with its cross between Gore and the Three Stooges?
Interesting.
Yeah, I've probably heard it before. You probably told me, but I can't think of it right now.
Blat stick.
Oh no, I have not heard that.
Makes sense.
You
I mean, for what it
this will be my last question on
had a
this.
lot-
Do you
had a
remember?
lot of
Do you remember the
innovation.
commentary? Do you remember the commentary with Bruce Campbell being asked by Kurt Russell to say woodshed?
No.
Because the ADR was so bad and so cheap, you could clearly tell that it doesn't match his lips at all. So
I love Evil Dead 2. I like it more than Evil Dead. Like you said, it's a lot more fun than the original one.
And
And
there isn't some creepy tree rape scene.
it doesn't get much better than Bruce Campbell as Ash. So
No.
he's
If you
he's
want an
fantastic.
80s horror movie hero, Ash is the perfect. Shop smart.
yes.
Shop smart. And the second ending is actually great if you have it on the DVD or whatever, and you watch the
Where he
alternate
falls
ending.
asleep.
It's actually, it's actually like kind of fucked up and fantastic, and it's I think a better ending than the original theatrical.
Bruce slapped. Well, it would have tied in. Well, no, it wouldn't have tied in because 2 had him dropping in the Army of Darkness. Would have been interesting if they had gone. Yeah.
You'd have just slept back in time somehow. But yeah, Army of Darkness is also great.
I just love that Ash can't get out of his own fucking way. Even when you think he's got it all figured out, he's going to be able to. He somehow finds a way to fuck it up.
So, quick question for you, Don. Best line in Army of Darkness?
Oh God, there's so many. Well, mine is my celebration. Yeah, baby. That was really terrible, by the way. The first one I was thinking outside of that was Yoshi Bitch. But
that's also not the best line of the movie.
The pillow talk.
Just pillow talk, baby.
The Klaatu Veratu. Bruh.
Yeah, but Jordan, you're number 3.
Yeah, I was just thinking, was it Evil Dead 2 or was it Army of Darkness that was going to not be a sequel that they just had to slap the name onto? Or am I just completely going crazy about this?
I mean,
I had heard that one before.
Army of Darkness has the car. It has Ash Williams. It has the shotgun. You really couldn't say it wasn't a sequel. Without rewriting and taking all that stuff out.
Because the rights had changed, so.
All right. I will do a little more research on that and I'll come back to that. My number 3 has absolutely destroyed horror for the last 20 years. Since 2004, it's going to be Saw. The first one is fantastic. Tobin Bell as the Jigsaw as the killer. I mean, he's still. You want to play a game? Still resonates to this day. You hear it all the time. I think it had like a $1.2 million budget, like just over $1 million, and it grossed, I don't know, over 100 million. So they just greenlit as many as they can, thinking, yeah, we'll just keep doing this. The problem is, I mean, you can only make so many great twists until that have great storytelling, once, maybe twice, before it's, before you're jumping the shark, really. Carrie Elways is great, as Dr. Gordon. Fun fact for you is that his co-star Lee, I don't know how to say his last name, Wynall. He actually co-wrote it and co-produced it. But he was actually pretty good in it as well for not really being much of an actor. I think the whole Danny Glover character is unnecessary and doesn't need to be in it, but that's another topic for another day. But I mean, this movie has the best twist in a movie since The Sixth Sense, and I mean, it kind of created the twist ending for the next 8 movies that it produced after that. So, I mean, I still can't really forgive it for creating the torture porn that we have to watch nowadays, but as far as movies go, I mean, this first one was fantastic.
I'll let Christian talk first before I dive on.
You know what I'm going to say. I haven't.
I know that, so I'm just going to get that out of the way.
So what's the point of?
I can't believe
I'm building up my fire.
Have you seen any of them? They have made 8 of them.
No, I don't know.
Is
I have not seen a single.
Is it 9 now with Spiral?
Yeah, I think so.
This is what you're saying. It's 2 is fine. 9 unnecessary.
Yeah, but 2 wasn't even supposed to be a Saw movie, and then they slapped that title on there.
I'm just saying 2 movies in general, not whatever specific about Saw 2.
Yeah. They kind of did what Fast and the Furious did, though, where they kind of got away from what they did in the first one and then brought everything back and tried to go on a franchise run for like 3 straight movies. But it just wasn't there.
So I have a question before I rip apart Saw.
I can't wait.
The 3D in the later sequel.
7.
Did you see it in the theater?
Oh.
I haven't gone to a Saw. Did you watch it drunk?
I haven't gone to a Saw movie since I went to Saw 3 on a Tuesday afternoon at 2:00 by myself, where they had to start the movie for me because they didn't think anyone was going to show up. I'm not even kidding.
So did you do the 3D effects by yourself in that?
There was no 3D effects in Saw 3.
Well, I meant the Saw that was made for 3D.
Yeah, I did not see Saw 7 in 3D.
It probably would have made the movie better.
It couldn't have. It was beyond terrible. They did. I don't know if have you seen it? Have you seen 7?
I haven't seen 7.
That's the 3D one, right? Yeah. So they bring back a major character. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to spoil this one since it is only like 5 years old. But
do it.
Well,
spoil away.
All right. Well, Carrie Elways has actually been a Jigsaw acolyte since he escaped the first movie.
What? No way! I didn't see that coming.
How else would they have?
God, why do you got to
all
be a
this
dick?
Surgical precision? Putting keys behind people's eyes without, with still having functioning eyes. So yeah, it was good. The first one still fantastic. You can skip the
Well,
rest.
rip it apart, Dad.
Yeah.
And here
Yeah, go ahead. Start ripping.
and here I go. I remember the Saw phenomenon when the first one was being hyped. The trailers, everything, the buzz was 100% on board with it. Wanted to see it. Was 99% into the movie. Was following everything like you have to. When that ending dropped at the end of Saw 1, I thought it was the biggest bullshit that I've
Why?
ever seen, because it's like, hey, remember all that shit in the background? You're supposed to be paying attention to it. So I have gotten so much shit for thinking Saw 1 is a cheat that I just, all the goodwill that was coming, just was all bullshit in my eyes.
There was literally nothing in the. There was the one thing that wasn't even really in the background. So you can't say all that shit in the background.
All that shit in the background is you were supposed to be paying attention. Hey, look at this third
No,
look at
it's
this
like a
third
magic
extra
trick.
in the back. You were
You're
supposed to be
just
paying attention.
no, it's a magic trick.
Well, you know what? I want my fucking bird back is what I want, okay?
You did. You got the prestige. What are you talking about?
And it sucked. Okay, I found out how the guy did the trick with the fishbowl, okay? It was bullshit.
Still great.
But I did give the latest Saw Spiral a chance because I had heard it was decent with Chris Rock and all that. It was trying to be like more of a Seven sort of movie, but unfortunately the movie still had to be a Saw sort of movie, so it just turned out to be the same old shit. So, but I give him props for at least getting a decent performance out of Chris Rock.
He was great in Fargo.
That I need to watch that.
Chris Rock was on.
He was in the 4th season of Fargo.
Yeah, he was in the TV show.
TV show doesn't exist. It's a movie podcast.
Okay, fair enough. Then Ash versus the Evil Dead doesn't exist.
Ooh, don't do that.
Yep. Go in there.
Be nice to my Evil Dead. Uh-huh. All right, well, I guess it's my turn. I'm going to throw a curveball here. I'm going to go with, I don't think it was just a year or two ago. I'm going to do my internet research. I should have written this down. 2019, Dr. Sleep. I had no feelings whatsoever. I did not think that this movie would work at all. The Shining is a movie that does not need a sequel. It's in its own class. It's perfect. It's awesome. Doctor Sleep surprised me in so many different ways. It's a hell of a lot meaner than Kubrick's version. It's just got Rebecca Ferguson, if you guys know who she is unreal as the villain known as Rose the Hat. While watching the movie, simultaneously, thought about, you're wanting to have sex with her, but yet she's scaring the fuck out of you so much that you want to run away from her. There are moments in the movie for just scares wise that went to a place that was uncomfortable, and it was like oh gee, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I can't recommend the movie enough. If anybody has any doubts out there, check out Doctor Sleep, especially if you're a big fan of the original Shining.
I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't yet. So I have nothing to say about it. I'm sorry.
I didn't expect that. The one thing I'll say about it is I've seen the theatrical version. I bought the 4K version that has the 3 hour long director's cut. I haven't gotten around to the director's cut, but I've heard it just makes it flow even better. You don't. The one nice thing that stood out for a 2.5 hour movie, it did not feel like work at all. It moved by so quickly. Never thought I'd want to see the full arc of Danny Torrance, but Ewan McGregor, like he usually does, he can play almost anything. So
Yeah, like I said, I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Christian, do you want to talk about The Shining? You could tell us how much you like The Shining.
Well, The Shining wasn't your pick.
I did like how you spent like 3
foreshadowing.
minutes saying that The Shining doesn't need a sequel, and then you just go, but this one's on my list, so this one's great.
You don't think it needs, when you watch The Shining, it's got, the Kubrick's version's different, obviously, than Stephen King's book.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like, all right, I need to know the continued story of Danny Torrance, but by the end of the movie, I was like, holy shit, that's what you call a fucking surprise. Go see it.
I'll get there eventually. Like you said, it's 2.5 hours, right? It's a lot to take in.
Jesus.
Christian.
I loved Stephen King's The Shining, starring Steven Weber.
With Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Stephen King version. Because, when you have an excellent horror movie directed by an unbelievably talented director, just because it doesn't follow your vision to a fucking T doesn't mean you have to hate the fucking movie. It's so stupid that he had to remake it. Oh, it didn't follow my vision. Fuck your vision. You can't top the movie of The Shining.
You want to bet?
If you're going to remake it, no, you can't.
What if you made it with Robin Williams instead of Jack Nicholson? He was considered to be Jack Torrance once upon a time.
I would watch
in
that
an alternate
movie.
Universe. It might have worked. Yeah, who knows how it would have turned out?
Or who else was it? Was it Big Bob? Robert De Niro? I think he was also considered for it.
I think Pacino. I think everybody was on that list.
And I think Harrison Ford.
I don't think Harrison Ford could have done it. Pacino could have done the Mad. Let me tell you a story.
Let me in the door. I'll burn this fucker down. I don't think it would have been
bash your fucking
flavor with Pacino.
It would have been Michael Corleone. Come on, Pacino in The Shining. That would have been no. Robert Duvall in The Shining. No. I'm just trying to think because Jack's in his own sort of class. Is there anybody that could have tried?
Well, see,
in the 70s?
Now we're going to step into recasting, and that's going to be a different episode altogether.
I just have a question. It's just a question over here.
It's not even a pick that you chose. We're not even talking about The Shining. We're talking about another.
Yeah,
movie.
but we hadn't seen that one, so we started talking about the prequel.
Yeah, that's no.
All right.
It's your turn, Dr. Jordan.
No,
that's my turn.
Trying to skip him.
You're just gonna skip
Trying to skip Mr. Horror.
Well, this pick is going to be an unbelievably great movie that you're all going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe I don't have it on my list. I'm just kidding. It's stereotypical. It's Friday the 13th, number one.
You go with it. Yeah, I like it.
It's a good 80s horror movie. You don't expect the ending.
Yes. No. The ending is awesome. It's Kevin Bacon getting an arrow through the throat. You know, who can say no to that?
I'm sure real Kevin Bacon wouldn't appreciate that.
Making good money. He's had a good career, you know.
I meant if it happened to him for real, he wouldn't appreciate it.
No. That would. I don't think anybody would appreciate that. So.
Well, I'm sure there are some people out there that go for it. It's a weird world.
You know what I really want to do? Yeah, the Friday the 13th.
There was a guy who voluntarily killed himself to have another person eat him. That actually happened.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, in Germany. I can't remember the guy's name. He was a cannibal, and he put out ads on this website to find people to kill and eat. And he had one rule: is if the other person's changed their mind, he'd be okay, fine, you don't have to do it. But he found a person who went along with it, and he died. And the dude butchered up his body and put it in the freezer and periodically ate him.
Has Yui Ball turned this into a movie yet?
It's been referenced in quite a few movies and TV shows and music.
I've never heard that story before. That's fucked up.
Armin Maiwis, a German. That's the guy that did it. He is currently serving, multiple life sentences, I believe.
I would hope so.
But yeah, that sometimes real life is not far from fiction when it comes to horror.
No, it shouldn't be. Jordan, do you have a favorite Friday the 13th movie?
No. This is Jason in Manhattan. No. What was that one?
That was part 8, where they were barely at Crystal Lake.
That one was fantastic.
That was not a good idea.
Yeah. Just the whole boombox scene is fantastic. Check that one out. Just that clip.
I've always been a fan of part 7, the one that introduced Kane Hodder, had Lar Park Lincoln as Carrie.
Then you liked 8 because it was still Kane Hodder.
No, part 8 sucked.
Oh, Jason Takes Manhattan.
I haven't seen many of them, but they were.
That sounds like a great porno. Yeah.
Jason Takes
Entertaining's right. I remember when they used to play on the USA Network when they were edited. So,
why?
Why would you even watch it edited?
Because I didn't have any other options. Didn't have any other options. There was didn't have no HBO or any of that. It was like, hey, they had the marathon on Friday the 13th.
I watched Freddy vs. Jason at a bar within the last couple of years. Just because it was on TV.
I watched a movie in the theater.
Oh, man. What a trash-ass movie. I am sorry.
You know what's great is getting shushed while laughing during that movie. The person that I was seeing it with, we were, laughing, having a good time, as you should, during Freddy vs. Jason. An older couple turned around and shushed us. We looked at each other like, what the fuck?
Be quiet already. I'm trying to watch my son Jason.
Goddamn miss anything. It's Freddy versus Jason.
Would you quiet down back there? I'm going to get a handy from my wife.
Oh, yeah. We quieted down. Yeah, oh. Been a lot easier if you just pulled a gun. Jesus. Don't shush me.
I can't finish if you guys are talking back there.
Let me tell you a secret. Yeah, this is the end of the movie.
I
God
look
damn
up
it,
to
we're gonna
Jason.
fucking fight now.
I wish I could do these things to
Oh,
these
yeah?
kids
Well-
on my lawn. Many a dreams I've had. Oh.
Well, I've always had a thing for Freddy because I like to fuck with people in their dreams, bitch. Let's fight.
Hey kid, ever play Skin the Cat?
This podcast has devolved into something unrecognizable.
Same thing.
Okay, Jordan, number 2.
Number 2, Wes Craven's Scream from 1996. Love it. Just full of horror movie cliches. It was kind of oddly unique at the time. I don't think I've ever seen a movie where they openly discuss horror movies as a thing that exists.
Meta.
Yeah. Kind of brought back the whole slasher genre to being a decent movie again. Now it did kind of ruin that when it made 4 or 5 more after that, but they tried again in 2019, and I think they're actually trying again in 2022 with a new one. But yeah, the first one was great. Matthew Lillard was fantastic. The cast is actually pretty damn good with David Arquette and Courtney Cox and all that shit. But a fun fact for you about this one is that they were actually calling the movie Scary Movie up until like the last day of filming, where they retitled it to Scream. And then they subsequently made 5 scary movies spoofing Scream and other horror movies. So yeah, Scream was great. Have you seen this one before, Christian?
I'll give you a guess, and your first 2 don't count.
Ooh.
Yes.
No and
Yes, he's
no.
Correct. No, I've not seen Scream.
Oh, it's great. You get this big actress, Drew Barrymore, to be in the opening scene just to have her murdered within the first 5 minutes. And you're just like, oh, well, they didn't think that was going to happen.
Kind of like Air Force One.
Yeah, just like Air Force One.
Or me and my poor taste in movies back in the day as a kid.
Yeah, same movie.
Oh, I want to watch them. Oh, what the fuck was his name? That shitty action star.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There's a lot of them.
No, it was in Air Force One.
Harrison Ford. John Leguizamo. Oh, that was Executive Decision. Never mind.
Or maybe I'm thinking of the executive.
It was Steven Seagal and
Steven
Kurt
Seagal.
Russell.
Yeah. I just watched that the other day.
Executive Decision's great.
We're not gonna make it.
Platt. You are.
Yeah, that's like I'm gonna see this cool Steven Seagal movie because Steven Seagal's a name. Then he dies in the fucking first 10 minutes.
The best is that you get to see his body just float off.
Bye.
Quick trivia with Executive Decision. I just read this. The reason why Seagal was killed off is because of his pending. He had accusations coming around for harassment, possible rape, and all that. So they wrote him out of the movie, and a lot of the John Leguizamo stuff was actually supposed to be Steven Seagal.
Rat. Pretty sure that was his name. I watched that movie so many times on TV. I mean, you got Halle Berry as the flight attendant now. She kind of saves the day.
Well, it's a good thing you were talking about Executive Decision, so Scream.
Yeah. Scream. Scream's fantastic. Don, your thoughts? You're mesmerized by Scream.
Yes. I am mesmerized. And Johnny Legs as well.
Did you get a phone call and have to run off? Was your quick pop going off on the stovetop?
I was doing my best Jamie Kennedy impersonation. Yeah, I've always loved Scream. Yeah, the just seeing, becoming a, even bigger horror fan and seeing, all the stuff that they got into there. It's one of the few movies where I don't dislike Matthew Lillard. David Arquette as Dewey is so good.
Not like Matthew Lillard.
Yeah. What do you not
he's-
like Matthew Lillard in?
He's
I think
amazing in
he's-
Hackers. He's amazing in Scooby Doo.
He's great in Summer Catch.
Hackers, Scream. That's it. Hackers and Scream.
What about Summer Catch?
Nope.
What?
I hated that movie.
Come on.
On another show, I could name so many different baseball movies that are better than Summer Catch.
What about us, SLC Punk? You gotta
Never
love him
seen
in
it.
that. You've never seen that? What?
Nope.
What the hell? All right,
Sorry,
fine.
I'm just
What
not a
about-
Lillard fan.
What about She's All That?
He was really good in.
What
He
about
was really good in
13
the-
Ghosts?
new Twin Peaks series. Didn't he die in that?
Is that why you liked him in the movie in that show?
In what? 13 Ghosts?
Yeah, because he dies.
Yeah, because he probably died. Yeah. He just looks like he just has a face you want to punch.
Yeah, but Christian really likes him, so he has.
Wouldn't go that far.
Well, he plays D&D.
That's true. He does.
Well, if he really liked him, he would have seen Scream.
Maybe he didn't know he was in it.
That's very possible.
Maybe
It's hard
not.
to know who's in a movie you don't see.
Oh.
Wow, what a concept.
All right, Donnie, you're
I will,
two.
I will dive. I will dive into mine. I'm gonna go with Fincher's Zodiac. I know it's not
That was an honorable
technically.
mention.
It's not technically a horror movie, but I think it is.
That's
It's
why
not
it was
even.
honorable mention.
It's not even a horror. It's not anything a horror movie.
It's a horror
It's an
movie. The
investigation movie.
fucking
It's an
death
investigation.
scenes are the whole.
They're recreated. It's almost like a snuff film.
Yes, that's why I think it's the Fincher's attention to detail in everything, including how uneasy the death scenes make you feel. I think it's his
it's fucking
best movie.
nasty.
It's nasty.
It's a,
It just
it's a great movie. It just doesn't belong on this list.
Yeah, I don't think it's a horror.
I think it's a horror movie. I think it's got that stuff. I think it's got great atmosphere, great tension. The whole sequence where
But that
he's
was
in,
so fabricated. The thing in the basement irritated the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And they put it in in every trailer for the goddamn movie was, oh, he's in this basement. Oh, the creaking steps above him. Oh, he's going to get killed. No. It was at a dude's house. It was his roommate. Oh, so scary.
Fight.
Fight. I will fucking fight you about this
vicious, vicious.
stupid movie that I again enjoyed watching, but it's not a horror film.
Nope. You could call it a crime
Oh.
film. You can call it a drama film. You can
Crime,
call it a
yeah.
mystery. You could even call it a thriller.
I've thrown it into all those: procedural, horror, thriller, crime movie, fantastic drama where you get to see these three characters being obsessed
not a
with. I'm gonna agree to disagree. I think it is.
Okay.
No, we're gonna disagree about disagreeing because your argument holds no water.
You know, Christian, maybe we should just let him have it since Goose is in it.
That's right. He is in it. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I wasn't thinking.
I mean, Mark
He is in that.
Ruffalo does a really good job.
Not as good as John
Really?
Carroll
You didn't
Lynch.
like Mark Ruffalo?
No, John Carroll Lynch is the best part of this whole movie.
To put my bow on my feelings of Zodiac being a horror movie, the end of that movie
Not a horror.
when when Hurdy-Gurdy Man plays and you have that ending is just one of the sickest, most brutal endings. It's just haunting. I'm going to go with my feelings.
About the song Hurdy-Gurdy by Donovan.
Do it.
That was the last song. That was the last song that John Paul Jones played as a studio musician before he joined Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
There you go.
That's a crazy fact.
There's some Donovan trivia for you.
Boom! Mind blown.
I don't know about that, but
when John Carroll Lynch delivers the simple line, "I am not the Zodiac, and if I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you." It just makes me giggle every time. It's chilling. Love that. I love that movie. I just wish it wouldn't on a better list.
Yeah,
it's not a horror list.
Anyways, we can debate whether it is or not all day. So let's
move. I think
let's move on.
You know what? My number 2 is a horror movie.
No.
Ooh, bring it on.
Yeah.
Brilliant concept for this list.
and I'll go back to my trend of our first episode. It's actually 2 movies. It's Jack Frost 1 and 2. They're horror movies because it's scary that trash was even made in the first place. It's garbage. It's the worst films I've ever seen. I hate Jack Frost.
Oh, Jack Frost.
You don't really mean that.
I think he does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, number 2 on my list because, like I say, it's terrifying that shit even exists.
Oh.
Jack Frost 2 is literally, if I made a list of worst movies I've ever watched, Jack Frost 2 is number 1.
Jack Frost 2 is bad.
I've never seen Jack Frost 2.
They go to like a tropical island somehow, fucking snowman.
Have you never seen?
Yep.
Haven't you ever seen Frozen 2 with Olaf?
Here's something. I've never seen Frozen.
Wow. It's not even a horror movie.
I mean, it can be construed that way if you take the plot out of order.
Could be.
Or something.
Who's better in Jack Frost, Michael Keaton or Kelly Preston?
Neither of those.
That was going to be my question. So what are your feelings on the Michael Keaton Jack Frost?
Doesn't exist.
Or is that not the Jack Frost we're talking about? Because that's the one that I thought you were talking about.
No, the horror movie. Shannon Elizabeth is the best thing about Jack Frost.
Oh God, yes, getting.
So now I don't think I've seen it.
You probably haven't.
I believe both of them are on Tubi. But then again, I think everything that's fucking awful is Tubi.
All right. So Jack Frost.
No, don't put on your list to watch.
Put it on or don't put it on?
Don't, for the love of God.
But it's only 90 minutes.
You need at least the first one.
Fine. It's a terrible fucking movie.
Don't watch the second one. The second one is...
You'll dig your eyes out of your skull.
Yes. Well, at least you picked a horror movie, Christian. Thank you. Good job.
Yeah, at least I didn't pick fucking Zodiac.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, it counts. At least yours counts.
Mine's a better horror movie than yours.
Right.
At least you gave me 5. And...
Well, yours is a better movie. It's not a horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
All right.
Fight.
If you guys are done fighting.
Yeah, I'm done with Jack Frost too. Let's move on.
Do we want to
watch Jack Frost 2?
I feel like I'm afraid to go through my honorable mentions before listing one because I don't want to just steal one of your guys' thunders.
List your one.
So I'll go with my one then, and it's The Cabin in the Woods from 2011. I'm pretty sure it was done with Joss Whedon, like co-directed, co-wrote it.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Chris Hemsworth is in it as just, a pretty minor character. And he was already a huge star, so it was kind of weird to see him pop up in this kind of shitty little weird horror movie. But Richard Jenkins, which I can't get enough of. He's great in everything he does. And again with the Bradley Whitford, he's something about him is just the slimy, swarmy, just douchebag that you just love to hate in everything. Have you seen this movie, Christian?
Nope.
Oh, it is absolutely making fun of every horror movie cliche possible.
I know what it's about, and I've seen clips of it. I've just never watched the full thing.
I used to make the joke when somebody would ask me what it's about. I would just say, well, you see, there's this cabin and it's out in the woods. And then say, okay, well, then what happens? I was like, well, then there's just these people in this cabin in the woods. Because if I tell you anything about it, it's going to ruin the surprises.
And it's not going to make any sense.
So people would get super pissed at me that I would not tell them about this movie, even though I raved and raved and raved about it. So, yeah, it like I said, it makes fun of everything, and it does it extremely well, and it just slaps you in the face with every cliche possible. I think I watched this with you, Don.
Yes, we talked about this on our faves episode. Yes, we saw this in a theater. We both walked out of it with the same feeling that everybody else didn't have. We loved it. We were laughing our ass off. We like to mention the Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, the Chris Hemsworth death scene. If you ever want to see something beautiful get destroyed,
he falls for so far. It's so long.
Everything that we've talked about, but I love the reveal in that movie. It's so fucking clever when you get that, when that's shown to you. It's certainly the last thing I was expecting.
Right. I think the best part about it is that it's critically was a masterpiece, like 90 something percent critically rated, but fans were only like in this high 60s, low 70s about it because they didn't really know what to think. Because you're expecting it to be one movie and it's completely not that movie. Oh.
It's a deconstruction. It's a kick in the dick. Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but it's a good one to when it's on, you just get sucked into it.
Yeah, the casual watcher will not enjoy the end, so
It's one of those you got to pay attention to.
No, not at all. But just your casual movie viewer just throwing something on, they're like, oh yeah, this has been good, and then it gets to the end and they just go, wait, that's how it's gonna end? And then you just go, I feel so unsatisfied.
Love Teddy KGB making an appearance. Christian, put that on your list twice. Circle it.
Yeah, I'd tell you to watch Get Out first, and then watch Cabin in the Woods, even though Cabin in the Woods is on my list higher.
Fuck, that would be a really good double. Holy crap. It's a
Bradley Whitford double feature.
That's one part of it, but just the expecting one thing and getting something completely different.
You can
that would be a good double.
You can put Billy Madison in between and as a buffer.
As a palate cleanser?
Yeah, but you said your Whitford.
he had to have started one more horror movie to make it a legit. Unless people, I could think that Billy Madison is a horror movie. So,
I mean, I could give you a whole list, but anyways, go on.
glad I called that guy.
You're number one.
Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mine is 1985's Bright Night from Tom Holland. It is underrated perfection, in my opinion. It's so much fun. Like we talked about a lot, the movie is a simple but it ends up being so much more, taking from so many different film genres, just having fun with the monster movies, vampire movies in particular. Um, it's got I know Chris Sarandon has played, he played the bad guy in Princess Bride. But his turn in this as the next door neighbor vampire, he is frightening and sexy at the same time. It's just everyone is just looks like they're having a blast in this movie. It's got a really, really, really fun score from Brad Fiedel, who did the Terminator themes. The movie has had a remake. It's had a couple of sequels. It's just never. They just missed the point completely as to what the movie was supposed to be. Yeah, I've watched this movie since I was young enough, and it just always works. It's so much fun. Have either of you seen it?
I have not, and I know they remade it with
With
Ethan
Colin
Hawke.
Farrell.
Colin Farrell. There we go.
Colin Farrell.
Was the remake any
I've
good?
seen it on a.
No, the remake. No, remake was not. It. A lot of the problems that I have with classic movies from 70s, 80s that were one way, the remakes try to go the other way with being darker, more violent. It just, yeah, the remake. If you haven't seen the original, the remake would probably be pretty good. But if you're a fan of the original, the remake is just, it's like, can't you spend your money on something else? Why not make the next Fright Night instead of just making Fright Night again?
Now, could you make a sequel to Fright Night without making a remake of it from '85?
They did make a sequel, and it was just terrible. They went away from the neighborhood high school thing. Bright Night 2 was a piece of shit. Yeah, it just I just can't say enough about it. So, Christian, have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've seen it on a lot of top horror movie favorites lists. Also on those lists of favorite horror movies, they don't seem to mention Zodiac because it's not a horror movie. But yeah, I've seen Friday Night be referenced quite a few times and talked about.
Just to kind of tie in the makeup work in Fright Night is so good, and it again tying into the new movie sort of things. Computers can do so much, but computers don't look real at all. When they're making this stuff and putting it on people, and these actors and actresses have to sit and 6, 7, 8 hours put all this makeup on, and it's actually lived in. It just can't be topped.
But CGI Leia
Don't get me going on that.
and CGI Mark Hamill and CG
Nope.
Palpatine.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
The best thing Mark Hamill
Not gonna
did was
do it.
appear on an
Easy-
episode
easy
of What We
target.
Do in the Shadows. So
I love that show. I love that movie.
all right, Mr. Horror, what's number one on your list?
The greatest horror movie of all time is The Shining.
Interesting pick.
It's psychological. It's like paying attention to it when you realize that he's been typing in this book and all he's been writing is forwards or however many over and over and over and over and over again. And you just know that his brain's been warped since before the movie even started. The only thing I don't like about it is how does he get out of the freezer?
It's a pretty big one though. How does he get out of there?
Yeah. But it's a fantastic movie. It's Kubrick is so good. Shelley Duvall is cast perfectly as in that role.
She got
Didn't-
wrecked by.
Didn't they
Kubrick
fuck
in that
her
movie.
up with that though?
Yeah, she
Didn't
Kubrick-
act for a long time again after that.
Yeah, and I don't blame
Well,
her.
the
way-
story is
as brilliant as Kubrick is, he treats his actors like shit. But he
Well, the story-
he does it to get the what he wants out of them.
sorry. The story is that he made Shelley Duvall go through a doorway like 200 times because it wasn't
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, that's what you need to do to make a perfect movie.
Yes. Instantly quotable. Yeah, it's got Hong Kong Phooey in there. Catman Crothers. Can't think of anybody else, but when Scatman starts talking, is Hong Kong Phooey. So. Cameron
I'm not gonna
asked
hurt you.
what
I'm just gonna bash your head in.
Cameron asked what Red Rum was because he saw they had there was a flyer for the Red Rum Festival. So I had to tell him that Red Rum is backwards for murder. Why would anybody
give it
do
away?
that? Because he's 8. He's not going to be watching The Shining anytime soon.
Maybe he
Why not?
should.
Yeah,
Tell you what,
gotta break that skill sometime.
he'll be a good boy.
This is what happens when you won't leave Daddy the fuck alone and let him write. Since we've obviously seen that movie a lot, what's the first thing that you remember about The Shining that stuck with you?
The elevator and the blood.
Worm?
I think I've only seen it twice, and I never really was a huge fan of it.
For me, it was always the old lady getting out of the tub. That was just as disturbing. It's like every teenager's dream, you get to see the hot naked lady, and then, nope. Reality is that it's an old dead woman.
Yeah, I can't say a whole lot about it.
You should watch it again.
I don't want to watch it again. I didn't like it the first 2 times.
That means you need to watch it again.
No.
Just keep watching it until it clicks.
Thanks, Stanley. Making me watch your
Watch it 200
shitty
times,
movie.
you'll figure it out.
So you're a fan of Stephen King's version then?
No.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was very interesting to begin with, just the whole subject matter. However, I prefer that style of movie compared to what we get now.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of thought to modern
I
horror.
don't need to see somebody slice and dice their way through 90 minutes of a movie just to say, look what I can do.
Which
When
was Halloween Kills.
I'd much rather have them prey on my mind where it's like, well, shit, that could really happen and people could actually go crazy in this, all the things that he does in the movie, almost all the things that Jack does to his family is, very possible and has probably happened before in real life to somebody.
Could The Shining be made today the way it was back then?
Could it be?
Could they make it? Could they make it the same way
Sure.
that they...
I mean, didn't they do that with Dr.
Who would
Sleep?
make it?
I mean, it was just on your list.
Yes, but if you were going to... I know this would probably be like a recastables thing, but who would make The Shining? Who would be the one?
Jordan Peele.
Interesting choice. I like that.
Could see Alison Brie as the wife.
You just
I think
want
she
to
could be
see
a
her
good
in
horror.
everything.
She could be a good horror queen.
Hear me out on that. Kristen Wiig.
I haven't seen enough drama from her.
Okay. Did you see the Skeleton Twins?
No.
It's not a horror movie, I promise.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I'm gonna
You could list pretty much
just
any movie in the last 5 years, and I probably haven't seen it.
I'm gonna put a bow on the Shining talk, but here's my thought for you, Worm. Could Sam Rockwell play the Nicholson part?
Oh,
Played Torrance? Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Rockwell would be great.
But
To me,
I'm a sucker for Sam Rockwell. He
God,
can do
that would be-
anything. So
I know, me too, but that could be fucking awesome.
That makes me change or add another one to my honorable mentions.
I mean, I don't even finish watching Seven Psychopaths if it wasn't for Rockwell. So
I read that I think Sam Rockwell, Colin Farrell are teaming up with Martin McDonagh to make his new movie. And Oscar Isaac was the other one who was going to be in this.
perfect.
Yes. All right, who's going to start with their honorable mentions?
I can just fly through mine quick. It's all 9 of them. Maximum Overdrive from 1986.
Yep. Hell yeah. I dig it.
Fantastic. I mean, you just had a whole AC/DC soundtrack. It doesn't get better than that. Gremlins.
AC/DC's trash.
Yeah, but they get the exclusive music rights.
It was a good soundtrack.
Of course they do.
And they only played, 4 or 5 really good songs of theirs.
You mean the same song over and over
Yeah.
again? Because they're all the same.
Sure. Joe Dante's Gremlins from 1984. Great movie. However, I still have a problem with Phoebe Cates feeding them beer in the bar because they would be reproducing nonstop with all the water that's in beer. But we're not here to nitpick movies, I guess.
Not that,
depends on what kind of
that
beer
one.
you give them.
You said High Tension. 1990s Tremors with Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
Love that movie.
Had to give a shout out to Halloween from '78. The first to do everything. If we don't have that, we don't have Friday the 13th. We don't have Nightmare on Elm Street. We don't have all of it. Zombieland from 2009. Love, love, love Zombieland. Endlessly quotable. Second one sucks. First one was great. The Quiet Place from 2018. Love that movie. And George Romero's Night of the Living Dead from 68 is the last one I got to give my shout out to. Because he made a fantastic movie on $100,000 budget.
Yeah, and the ending is
It's great.
it's great. It's like disappointing as you're watching it, but it's for an ending for a movie like that, it's great.
Right. Yeah, it holds up still to this day.
And Romero never liked using his creatures being called zombies.
No.
Which is kind of funny because he created the whole zombie genre.
So yeah, that's got to give a shout out to all those movies. Easily could have been on my list.
I'm not a fan of the remake, Dawn of the Dead, from 2004 or whatever it was, but I like the OG stuff.
Yeah, I'd much prefer Romero's.
I love Night of the Living. Okay. Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening. I love Night of the Living Dead. I'm a bigger fan of the sequel, Dawn of the Dead. Not so much any of the other ones. I mean, Day of the Dead I remember because of the guy getting his guts ripped out, but Dawn of the Dead just has a fantastic tension, but it's also funny, but then there's satire. It just has everything. The Night of the Living Dead is just, when you watch it the first time, if you watch it at night, it just gets to you. I watched Tom Savini's remake of it.
I was just going to bring him up.
It was good. It was really good. Yeah. It was trying to be its own thing. Yeah, but it was a good effort. I liked it.
Well, yeah. I mean, zombie movies wouldn't be what they are today if it wasn't for Savini's effects.
Yeah.
And the original
Yes.
Dawn of the Dead and stuff. He really brought about slasher and gore movies.
There is a fantastic Tom Savini documentary on Shudder. It's like hour and a half, hour 40 minutes, but it goes from when he was a youngster, what he was into, and what he's doing now, where he couldn't do creature effects anymore. So now he runs a school and he's teaching others how to do what he does. Yeah. If you ever come across that, Tom Savini documentary.
Check it out.
Check it out.
What do you got for honorables?
What do I got? Well, I'm going to go with
there's a lot.
5 movies. No, I'm going to go with I watched a lot of horror movies, like I've done for it's 3 years now. Oh, screw it. I'll just put it out there. I watched 75 new horror movies to me. So it's a lot of junk to get through, but these 5 stood out amongst them all. The first one on my list is called For the Sake of Vicious. This was it was very lean. It was only like an 80-minute movie. It was very mean, absolutely fucking brutal. It reminded me a lot of The Raid, the fight scenes that they were doing inside of the house. There were so many twists and turns, and then lastly, it just it did so much more in its 80 minutes than a lot of movies do. My second movie is called Benny Loves You. I found this movie on the Movie Channel. It is about a childhood toy bear who murders for his best friend. It's stupid as fuck premise, but it goes 100% with it, and it's funny as hell. It's graphic. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. Just get past all the bullshit.
It's horror movie.
Next up,
Ted.
Yes.
It's Ted if he's killing and
That
not
is a good
fucking.
way. Yeah. Yes, 100%. And Ted looks a lot better. Next up on my list. Next up on my list is a movie that I had put off watching because really hit or miss with Rob Zombie as a whole. But I watched Lords of Salem, and it was the best Rob Zombie movie that I've seen after Devil's Rejects, which is a totally different, amazing movie. Zombie is totally in his wheelhouse with the occult, the Salem witch trials, where he goes with the movie because it's a Rob Zombie movie. It's pretty disturbing. And then, yeah, biggest thing with it, Sherry Moon Zombie wasn't an annoying batty fuck in the movie. I mean, she's still who she was, but cared about her a little bit more than she had in any of her other husband's movies. Fourth on my list is called After Midnight. Just another surprise. A lot of these movies, I don't read a whole lot about them. I just go with the title. Maybe I had heard something about them. This one was a simple mishmash of a breakup movie with a monster movie. It just had a really sweet heart to it. The ending, had no idea it was coming. I was just totally surprised with it. The last on my list is David Cronenberg's son, Brandon. His second movie, it's called Possessor. He's definitely learned a lot from his father. He's got an eye for sex and violence combining in his movies. It was just a total mind fuck. It's on Hulu. Yeah, if you want something different that will make you think and not answer anything for you, yeah, definitely give it a shout.
I will definitely watch Possessor.
Yeah, it's really short too. It's only like 95 minutes.
Pretty short.
But while watching Possessor, I have, I just like to think the stuff that they get away with in the movie, would they have been able to get away with that stuff 20, 30 years ago? What they show. It's amazing how things have changed.
Christian?
First on my honorable mentions, and this kind of goes into similar to Zodiac. It's not a movie though. It's Mindhunter, which I thought was a fantastic show. But again, it's not a really movie, but I thought what they did with it was really good.
Fair enough.
And they're going over how they just start beginning of how the FBI starts to track serial killers and stuff like that. And the actor who plays Ed Kemper is just spot on. And it's pretty well written. I mean, there are some things that are pretty dumb about the show, and another thing that is pretty upsetting is the fact that the director or the writer said he's basically done with it because they had to shut everything down for COVID, and I guess he just lost all interest, which really sucks because it's not finished. Other than that, I had Army of Darkness, which I spoke about earlier. And then I had a few listed from the silent film era. The Cabin of Dr. Caligari is just a twisted movie, and it's a great psychological film. And I have a couple from F.W. Murnau, Faust, and Nosferatu. Nosferatu is just OG vampire. Basically, just ripped off the vampire book. And Fritz Lang's M is a great murder mystery. It's not really horror, but it's really psychological because like it's a person going around kidnapping and killing children, so it's sort of horror-ish. Then we brought up Sam Rockwell. I wanted to include Moon on my honorable mentions because it's if you consider isolation horror, then I think Moon is a fantastic representation of just, I mean, you're just alone, and when he finds out what's actually happening at his binding base, it's just pretty freaky. That everything is. I'm not gonna say anything because I really want people to watch the movie, but Sam Rockwell is just a genius actor in that film.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And lastly is
Ditto.
is one of the greatest horror movies of all time, but I couldn't include it in my list. It's Hobgoblins. Which is it's basically a wannabe Gremlins ripoff, but MST3K did an episode on it, and it's one of the funniest episodes they ever did, and I absolutely love it.
You say they did a remake. They did a worse version of Gremlins. It was called Critters.
There have been several terrible remakes of Gremlins.
Yes, there has. Ghoulies. Just to put a bow on that, I saw M a few days ago. Loved it. I watched Nosferatu last year. I watched the Werner Herzog version of it for my October. Completely same movie, but with the extra half hour, it turns him into a very tragic figure. Didn't think that was possible. Yeah. Oh, I know there was one other on your list, but yeah. I wanted to put out there that I had finally seen M, and it was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, the other one was Faust, which is
Now I haven't seen Faust yet.
For me, that's my favorite movie from Murnau. It's a story of a man selling his soul to the devil, and it's like you look at it, and some of the effects that he's able to do in 1926 is mind blowing with the technology they had back then and the way that the movie looks. You wouldn't believe it was 1926. But I love Murnau movies. He's a fantastic director for that era.
Yes, when I've gotten around to finally watching his stuff, I've just been like, damn it, why didn't I watch those sooner? Why didn't I listen to Christian?
I told you about it. What?
I need to watch Faust.
15 years ago?
I would have. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's
yeah.
Whenever something goes on the list, who knows if it's gonna come off.
Yeah, it gets buried. Because you have to watch 75 trashy horror movies for some reason.
They weren't all trashy.
Instead of the movies that I tell you to watch.
Faust would have been a maybe horror movie. I could have. I was the same way. Because there were a lot of different things saying, a lot of what it was. But I just went into it. It said, about being about a child killer. I just went, well, it can't be anything but a horror. So. But yeah, then M ends up being completely something else too. So, Jordan, do you have anything to say to the people before we sign off?
Nope, not really. I said enough. I gave you a bunch of shitty movies and a bunch of fun movies.
Well, there you go, America. He gave you a whole bunch to watch.
America.
Say goodbye, you guys.
Go away.
Toodles.
Just fucking leave already.
Thanks again for listening to Horror Fanatic by Indie Drop-In Network. If you would like to nominate a podcast for feature, just send me a tweet at Indie Drop-In. Indie Drop-In Network has many other shows you might enjoy. You can check them out at indiedropin.com. I'll put all the links at the bottom of the show notes to make it easy. All right, see you next time.